Okay, in this activity here, we are going to be rearranging polynomials. What I'd like to do is actually just go through the actual flip chart page with you, and afterwards we'll take some time to create our own flip chart page. So the overall objective here again was to rearrange polynomials, but the key thing that we wanted to get across to the students was that when we do move terms around in a polynomial, that the sign in front of the term moves with the term, and you'll see how that takes place. So in this case here, I've got the polynomial 2x squared plus 3x plus 3x squared minus 5, and I'm going to rearrange it. I'm going to want my 3x squared term to go first, for example. I'm just going to hover over, move the mouse button over it. I'm going to left click the mouse button, and while holding the left button down, I'm going to just drag that term out. Notice that the plus sign moved with the term. I want my 2x squared term to be next, let's say. So I'm just going to go over and hover over the 2x squared term. Notice what happens. The arrow changes to this hand, which tells me that I can drag something from this space here. So again, I'm going to click on the left mouse button. While holding that button down, I'm just going to drag that term out. Let's go. We may as well go with our x term next. Again, just hover over it and grab it with the mouse and drag it out. Hover over it, click on the left mouse button, and drag it down. And there we go. We've got a rearranged polynomial, and in each case, the sign moved with the term. I went one step further and also color coordinated each term, just so it would be extra clear for the students to see that. Okay, so I actually have created here a bunch of different examples for us to work on in class. Oops. So why don't we create our own now? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually create a blank page for us to work on. I can do that very easily by going up to the Insert, Page, Blank Page, After Current Page. If I click on that, I get a nice blank page that I can work on. First thing I'm going to do is write out a polynomial. You'll notice there's no text icon here. So what am I going to do? Well, very easily, if you come up to this icon here, you can switch between different profiles. Right now, the profile is set at the board. I'm going to go down to authoring. I find that the authoring profile is good when you want to create flip charts because it gives you many more icons to work with. And you'll see that I clicked on that button there, and this icon bar on the right, or the toolbar on the right, is going to change a little bit, and you'll see a bunch of different icons appear. Someday we will. Maybe today. There we go. Here it is. So you can see I got a bunch of different icons here, and the one that I was looking for is the text one here. So if I click on this text icon, you'll see that the arrow changes to this ABC icon type thing there. I just click on the page, I can start to type. I actually want my size to be a little bit bigger there for my font, so I'm just going to come up to here. You can see that the font is Arial and the size is 28. I'm going to just increase that to 36. There we go. And all I have to do is type in a polynomial. So let's go 9x. I'm going to want this term to be squared. So I'm going to just come over to this button here, and this allows me to superscript. So there's squared. I'm going to click on that again so that my next won't be superscripted. Okay, so there's 9x squared plus 4x plus 3 plus 3x, and I'm going to actually have this term cubed. So again, I'm going to go up to this button here, allow me to superscript that cubed. And there we have it. There's our polynomial. And I will just drag it down here for a second to get out of the way. Next thing I'm going to do is, you'll notice on the previous slide I had like a box that went around the polynomial. And I did that really because I thought it looked good. And it also helps to kind of hide objects that end up going behind it. So what I'll do is, the way I did that is, if you come over to here and click on this icon here, if you click on that, you'll see you have all these different shapes that show up. The shape I chose was this one here. You can change the background color of that shape just by coming over to here. So how about in this case, it was orange before. Let's have a green background. So I can just click on the green button there. I've already clicked on this shape. I just got to come out to my flip chart page and create that. And so that looks to be about a good enough size. I'm going to click back on my arrow here. That will allow me to select my polynomial, because I want my polynomial to be sitting right inside that box. But you notice what happens? My polynomial is hiding behind it, and the reason for that is because there are different layers on each page, and right now my polynomial is sitting on a layer that is underneath this green highlighted box. And that's easy enough to change. All I'm going to do is just click on my polynomial, and when I do that, you see all these different icons showing up. I'm interested in this one right here. When I click on that, I have different options, and the one I want is to reorder, and in particular I want to bring that polynomial to the top layer, so I'll just click on that. Now when I drag it up, you'll see that it is actually sitting above, and it's like it's sitting right inside that box now. Last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight both the box and the polynomial, and I'm going to group them together by clicking on this icon here. Now notice what happens to the icon. It turns yellow. That tells me that they are grouped. And the reason I do that is now if I want to move this around, I can grab the polynomial. They both come at the same time. I can grab anywhere on this green box. They both move at the same time. And so that's just grouping. Okay. Next, I'm going to need to create each term on its own. So I want to create 9x squared. I'm going to come back over to my text. I'm going to type in 9x squared. Now I want to change the color because as you saw in the previous slide, I think the color helped even more show the fact that the sign moves with the term. I can easily change the color by clicking on the text color box here. And here, let's pick this color here. And I'm going to type in 9x, and again superscript squared. Oops, now something I forgot. If that 9x squared isn't the first term in the polynomial, it's going to need a sign, and that sign is going to have to be a positive sign. So there it is. There's my plus 9x squared term. And I'm just going to do that for each term. So I will click. I want 4x. I will do 4x in brown. Again, going to need the sign plus 4x. And let's do this purple color here for 3 plus 3. And finally 3x cubed. How about we do orange? So plus 3x and superscript cubed. Come back to my arrow. Now you notice I didn't put these in any particular order. They're just sitting here on the page, and the reason for that is because I still have some work to do with them. The first thing I'm going to want to do is put each term on the bottom layer, because I'm going to want it to show up below the green box here with the polynomial. So if I click on the 9x squared term, okay, I'm going to come back to this icon here, which gives me a menu of different options. I want to reorder it, and in this case I want it to be on the bottom layer. So I'll do that. I'll put it on the bottom layer. Now the next thing I also want to do is I want to be able to drag a copy of this 9x squared term. So what I'm going to do, I'm still highlighted on this term. I'm going to click that same icon, and I'm going to go to drag a copy. Let me just show you what drag a copy does. Notice the arrow. As I approach the term 9x squared, it turns into a hand. And I can left click and now just drag a copy of that 9x squared term out. And I can drag as many as I want out of there. Okay? Now I don't need all three of those, so that was just to show you. So I'm just going to undo 1, 2, 3. Now I have to go through and do that for each term. So again, 4x squared, or sorry, 4x. First thing I did was I put it to the bottom layer. Then the next thing I did was drag a copy. 3x cubed term. bottom layer, and drag a copy. 3, bottom layer, and finally drag a copy. And I can easily tell whether that drag a copy has been placed on each object because it changes to the hand. So you can see the hand there, and the hand there. Now I'm going to need to place each of these terms underneath my polynomial with the green text box. What I'm going to do first is I am going to actually lock this on the background because I don't want it to move. I just want the object underneath it to move. So if I click on that, remember they're grouped, so whatever I apply to the green box, I'm actually applying to the whole thing here. So I want to lock it again. Go to that icon there and just click on the locked. And what happens there? That is now locked. I cannot drag that at all. Okay, so now I got to bring each term and drop it in its corresponding place underneath the polynomial. But again, that's drag a copy, so I can't move that because it's just going to drag a copy. Let me just undo that. This blue box here allows us to switch between two different modes, presentation mode and design mode. Right now I'm in presentation mode. If I click this box, it turns orange. I'm now in design mode. And remember, this was drag a copy. In design mode, this term still has drag a copy affixed to it, but that won't take place unless I'm in presentation mode. I can actually move this around now in design mode. So I'm going to place that under my 9x squared term. I'll move my 4x term, my 3x cubed term, and my plus 3 term. And that's that. I'm just going to go back into presentation mode, and that should be it. We now should be able to drag terms from underneath the polynomial. So let's start off with 3. Notice the arrow turns into a hand. Plus 3, positive 3. We'll go 4x next. Plus 4x. Plus 9x squared. Plus 3x cubed. And the reason I decided to use the drag a copy feature is because we can create as many different polynomials as we want. Let's say I wanted the 3x cubed term to go first. I just come over, because it's drag a copy, there's an infinite number of copies of that term that I can drag out. And so I'm just going to do that for each. Again, notice how the sign is coming with each term, and the color coordination helps also to illustrate the fact that the sign moves with the term. And that's it. That's how easy it is to create a fun and interactive flip chart using things such as locking of objects, layering, and dragging a copy. Hope you enjoyed.